don't loop. Anyways, hey, I forgot I had it on loop. I see Tennessee in the house. I see you, brah. I hope your trip to Waikiki was a good one. And we're going to be full on live in just a minute. I'm just, it's been, I don't know, a couple of weeks since I've been live. No, 2 weeks? No, I take the back. It's been a week. So we're gonna just hang out, be impromptu. I actually got a guest. I see him in the waiting room, so we're gonna pull him up in just a second. If you don't know who we are gLO Sessions Media. My name is Brother Greg, aka the Real gLO. We are live for the next hour or more, depending on how I feel. And we're gonna talk about Tiffany Fong. We're gonna talk about Thanksgiving. We're gonna talk about Bitcoin hitting 100,000. We're gonna talk about Christmas. What are your plans? Future of social media. We're going to talk about Green Man. If you guys don't know who he is, we'll talk about him for just a minute. And then we're going to talk about West Africa. Yes, we are. And then we're going to talk about engagement farmers getting penalized on the platform that we're on primarily, which is X, but we are live actually. So for those of you that are kind of brand new to me, we're live on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and Rumble. And we're going to be live on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, if this recording is good enough. So I think that's it. And then what else we got to talk about? I think that's it. I'm going to pay some bills real quick. Today's episode is brought to you by Archon Mounts. They are the premier mounting solutions for people that are serious. Hold on one second. For people that are serious about creating viral content, whether you are a TikToker, YouTube Shorts, Facebook stories, or whatever, Instagram stories, get yourselves one of these. Get it before Christmas. They ship fast. They are based in Arcadia, California. I've been with them since 2015. They are one of my product sponsors. Promo code is Hawaii, and you'll get 20% off your entire order. It may go up to 25%. I have to verify with them for Christmas, but at the least it's 20% off. So if you're, like a professional photographer, action guy, maybe you're one of those superheroes that delivers our food late at night when we don't want to go out and drive in the snow. You're one of those Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Postmates. You're one of those heroes. You need to get one of these guys. They have ones for the cars too. And if you're an airline pilot, they have those for airline pilots too. So Archon Mounts, keeping your devices within reach. Go to archon.com. Be sure to click in the promo code, put in Hawaii, and you'll get 20% off the entire order, which it may go up to 25%. I will verify before the ending of this broadcast. So we'll be back in about 52 seconds. No, 49 seconds. We'll be back in 49 seconds. You're watching gLO Sessions live on all platforms. 49 seconds, and we'll be right back. I'm such an amateur. I forgot to turn off the looping. So we have a guest. I'm not sure if he's ready. I'll pull him up anyway, whether he's ready or not. But and the inspiration for the title is you guys know him on X, Vladimir Robot. No, Vladimir. What is his user handle? Vladimir Robots, I think, or Robots. Whatever it is, he is a phenom when it comes to live streaming, content creation. I'm not saying he's an engagement farmer, but we're trying to figure out why did he get his account. He got put in Twitter jail, in X jail, and so that was the inspiration. And I'm not pointing fingers or anything, but I was in Twitter jail last month for, I think, 3 times. They put me in Twitter jail for, I think it was like a day or two. So 3 times, and I know why it was. Is because I'm logged in on multiple devices, on multiple. I'm on an iPhone, my Android. I'm logged in on my iPad. I'm logged in on my Mac. I'm logged in on third-party, applications that it, so I can see why I would have been flagged for something, but I don't know for sure. So we're going to talk about that. And I've got a very good friend of ours, Justin Results French. And I'll just pull him up on stage. And I'm not sure if he's ready to talk. If not, we'll promote the heck out of him while he's, doing his hair. Oh, there he is. He's got his. I'll let him explain himself. I'll just say this: in the area of business and marketing, he's been doing it for, I want to say, at least 20 years minimum, because he's kind of old. So he's been doing it for 30. He's been doing it for 30 years. He's gonna like, wait a minute, I'm not that old. But let's pull him up, brother. Justin Results French. For those of you that don't know him, here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you, brother. Yes, sir.
Yeah, gLO, good to see you, brother. Yeah, man, welcome back. It's been a minute since we've connected here. I know you took like a week off here, but before we get started, I want to thank our sponsor again,
Oh yeah,
Archon
yeah.
Mounts. Archon Mounts, thank you guys. I've been using these on the Be Real X Talk show now. gLO has been encouraging me to make sure I've been using it, so I am. So thank you again. And here's the best part about it, guys. This thing is on brand. Okay, I'm a big brand guy, as you know. The blue and black brand colors they're my brand colors on my personal brand site. They're my brand colors for the Revenue Ronin, and they're also the brand colors of the sponsor of today's show, Archon Mounts. So thank you so much, gLO and Archon Mounts. Really, really great product. I'm getting some good shots. I even I'm going to be doing some more client check-ins, and so I'm going to be like live client check-ins, bringing my phone, streaming it live to X like I've been doing. So, but yeah, good to see you, gLO. How you been, man?
I didn't even realize it was the colors. Honestly, I didn't even realize that. It just worked out that way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how things work out like that sometimes. But yeah, and then funny thing on Bitcoin, real quick. And thank you for that intro. Yeah, I mean, I just love business. I love sales. I love marketing. I've had multiple companies myself. Had a lot of failures, but had a lot of success as well. And but yeah, it's just X is the hotspot right now, and
Mhm.
it's just been 14 months I've been on here. 14 months every day, and I've met a lot of great people like yourself and Andy and TNT out there. Good to see you, Tiger Ninja Tech. Good to see you guys out in the chat here. It's a little late for me. I was doing some client work here, but just wanted to wind down for a second. So thanks for the invitation, gLO. It's so awesome to connect with you a little bit.
I think I try to throw out an invite as much as possible to the DM groups we're in, just to get people. It's a safe space here, and I, I I don't have a high production in area of discussion. It's just free flowing, right? So when I do my podcast, it's kind of the same concept, right? So it's a safe place. So if anybody wants to jump up, you let me know. Shoot me a DM. And my friend out there, and I got a very good friend of mine from the old Periscope days, SLC. It's Vol, but I know he's from Tennessee, and he's a Tennessee Volunteers fan. But he's been with me for a while, and he's one of those no filter guys. He don't take, he doesn't take I don't know any other way to put it, but BS. He's a pretty straight up guy. So he's actually in Hawaii. So I really hope you're enjoying yourself. So, but hey, how did you do the your background? I didn't know you could do that. That's pretty cool. I love that. That's the green screen. Yeah.
Uh, no, it's just through StreamYard. You can just upload an image, and yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool. But it's my old. I haven't changed StreamYard just yet. Like to my new image, because I don't know if you
Yeah.
saw lately, but I got some shirts printed and my hat printed
Yeah.
at a local shop for the Revenue Ronin brand, and I've already been to a couple networking events, and yeah, people are just like the X people voted on it, right? Like I'm building in public to 10K a month, the Revenue Ronin brand, right? So the three revenue streams that I'm doing is the sales and marketing mastery mastermind community, sponsorship of the Be Real X Talks show, and then my sales and marketing agency where I'm signing clients, I'm running Google ads for them. And some of the clients come from X, some of them are outside of X, right? They've already been in my personal network for years. And but the idea is that, hey, I'm building in public right here on X, sharing with people the journey, to 10K a month, what that looks like. And I think, I was at about 4 in October, dropped a little bit in November, but I'm going to be picking that back up, come January. So yeah, some exciting things going on. And funny thing, some people don't know is I actually predicted the 100K Bitcoin back in February of 2021, and I have the video to prove it. It was on one of my faceless YouTube channels I used to run a while ago, back when I was working in corporate. Even if you know anything about me, even though I worked in corporate for 14 years as a marketer, I never shut down my marketing agency. And I always did like side businesses, right? Like I just love business, right? Whether it's a, Shopify store or a YouTube channel or affiliate marketing or fill in the blank. Like I've pretty much done it. So, but that's just, my nature, right? I'm all about the hustle. I'm all about building, and I want to shout out Vladimir because with his 100-day challenge, right? He really like made me up my game, right? And I'm already a hard worker, but a true testament to Vladimir, man. Like he's been a model for these past 54 days. And even before that, knowing him on Spaces, I've always known that he's a sharp guy, full stack developer, came to know him on Spaces and stuff like that, and just got to know him a little bit. And I was like, man, this guy is like, this guy's a go-getter. And A players want to work with other A players, right? gLO, like you're an A
Yep.
player, I'm an A player, Vladimir's an A player. There's a lot of A players and A creators on X here, right? And Vladimir was just doing a little pop-up video space earlier that I happened to hop on his alt account, on the Vladimir robot, on the
My
Robo
robot school.
School. Yeah,
Yeah.
Robot School. Yeah. And he was saying like, yeah, there's so many great creators here just not getting the recognition that they deserve. And
Mm-hmm.
he's right about that. He's right
Yep.
about that. And that's been my utopic view for, for a while, getting on this platform. And so it's good to see people like you, like keeping it consistent and, out here doing your thing and building and growing. And you've been live streaming for a long time though. Like this isn't your first rodeo, but I mean, here you are still at it, right? Still doing your thing. And, but yeah, it's,
Well, this was totally random because I had a schedule. My wife and I, so we started 5 days a week, and we go live and we just go back and forth, and then we cover topics. But before I went live tonight, I'm like, man, I really need to go live. It's just I need to turn the camera on, and it's like I have to do it. It's just I may not even have anything monumental. It's a connection that I really enjoy having, and so it's I do have topics, and so but before I went live, I just I made some notes, and do the organic paper stuff. I have digital things to keep me in line. But and by the way, there he is. I put him on screen, Robot School. But it's good to
yo,
have you, brother Vladimir. And whether we know
let's
what the
go.
reason, yeah, whether we know what the reason is or not, um, I will say in the area of content creation, Green Man had a genius video. I just watched it before I went live, talking about Tiffany Fong and how she gets big payouts. And I think there's mixed feelings about how X delivers financial payments to people, because nobody really knows, right? Nobody knows the pay scale, right? And so I always go with that mindset. No matter what it is, you just create what you enjoy doing, what you love doing. And obviously iron sharpens iron, right? We all know that. So,
Mm-hmm.
but what I try to stay away from is that circular where if I follow you, you follow me. I will only support you if you, and that's a very unhealthy circle because it's a very closed loop, right? So I try to stay away from that. I'm not saying I don't support people, but it can be vicious. I've seen people on X 8 hours a day, and then they say I only got a $20 payout. What it's scary to see that, for people that are hurting for finances, and they're putting all their eggs in that basket, right? So
Yeah.
I think what you do is great, because you have something viable outside of the platform, but yet, right?
Yeah,
when
and
those
I'm not monetized either. You know, I just hit 1 million impressions in a year. So like I know the requirement is 5 million impressions for 3 months, right? And I have, you know, a pretty decent following that I've built up in the last, you know, year, but I'm nowhere near like 5 million impressions for 3 months, right? And
see,
so
that's crazy, right? And you do good
and my
work all the
yeah,
time.
and I put out a lot of content, and
Yep.
and engagement rate. And I had a hot take. I said the other day, I was like, what if the payout was in direct correlation to engagement rate, right? Because
Hmm.
we know that engagement rate is good. They're staying on the platform. That's one of the key metrics
Yep. Yep.
you want for you know, in digital marketing, is like you want engagement. And so if my engagement rate is averaging 10% a month at least, right, you would think that that would, and some people hire, but yeah, I think it's to your earlier point, like you have to, I just think of it as a bonus, right? If I get
Yep.
monetized, like, okay, great, that's wonderful, right? But I'm not like trying to be on this platform to get monetized as a creator. Would it be nice? Yeah, it'd be great. But I'm building outside of this platform. I'm using this platform to build relationships,
Hmm.
to demonstrate thought leadership on what a lot of people lack in sales and marketing and business expertise and entrepreneurship. Like that's what I'm trying to do, right? And I literally just hosted a pop-up space, and I host a lot of spaces, as you know. I
Yep.
hosted a pop-up space the other day about, you know, sell me, don't tell me. And this was in the startup circle community that I'm a moderator in. And I've had almost 1,000 people watch that, and with the replay, right? So I think I had 200 or 300 live, and then plus the replays, and that's like pretty high. Like, and usually replays don't get that much traction. So as long as the people keep, you know, indicating that they're enjoying the content, they're getting value from it, I'm going to still be here doing my thing, right? Because, and you know, truth be told, some majority of the time I'm hosting spaces, I'm, you know, exercising. I'm either on elliptical in the morning
Hmm.
or I'm riding the bike, right? And so like I can do you know, I can be multitasking tasked in that sense, and still deliver the value, right? And then, you know, I just get busy during the week during doing client work and whatever other projects I'm doing. And yeah, so that's kind of where I'm
I
at.
want to connect the dots on something you said earlier. You talk about you predicted Bitcoin at 100K, and so every day I'm on a discussion. I have a separate Discord. It's really weird. I have a separate family on Discord, and we are what I call Periscope orphans, kind of sort of. So, and here's a dot that I'm going to connect. So I don't know if I ever told you, but we had a cryptocurrency company. So my business partner Joey, who is a former engineer at Twitter, we formed a cryptocurrency company in 2020, and we started doing it on what we call the B. So if you're familiar with BMD, which is Binance, so that's where we created the coin. It was a meme coin, and we did three projects. One was a meme coin based. We call it Hula Coin, and the utility of it was to provide um, finances to a nonprofit organization of your choice, and that's kind of how we marketed the product. And then the second project we did was called Hula Doge, and then we changed it to Fit Doge, and it was a GPS based coin. And so we learned a lot, and we did a couple of test runs. We ran the coin on CoinGecko, I think it was, but then we tried Coinbase, but then Coinbase was asking for a lot of money just to list the coin. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with how the exchange fees, the gas fees, and all those things they required us to. So we ended up not doing it. We ended up shelving it just because we weren't able to secure enough money to really make it work. And so, so Joey, he's the brains. I'm just so the other dot I want to connect is the marketing aspect. So you remember we were talking about months ago about CMO. You seen CMO in my that's a self title. So when me and Joey, we formed a company, I'm like, I need a title. Like, give me a title. I want to be like, I want to be vice president of like overseas consumption or some stupid thing, And so, yeah, our agreement was that because he's very introverted, He's not good on camera. I'm more of, and my marketing, actually my background is in sales and marketing. That's what really where I kind of came out of my shell, right? So I did car sales for 8 years, did finance, various network marketing companies, all that good stuff. So, but that's a dot I wanted to connect with, and that's why I think when I look at your content, okay, he's got it. He understands the law of averages, right? We all know that 1 in 4 will buy, right? But if they don't know, they don't show, right? If you don't tell them, they won't know and they won't show up. They may not even buy a product if you don't tell them. But yeah, that's the dot I wanted to connect. He's a Bitcoin and the
Yeah,
marketing
I
aspect.
remember. I think you had shared that story with me before, but you expanded on it this time. So thank you for that. And yeah, it's like I think those would you consider that like a Web3 project? Would you
It
consider
wasn't it
that
wasn't
Web3?
it wasn't Web3 at all. He built it
Okay.
directly on Binance.
Okay, got it.
Uh,
Got it.
if you
Okay.
built it on Bitcoin, it would be way too expensive. We thought about building it on Ethereum,
Mm-hmm.
but that was expensive too. So, Binance is based in China, right? So, and it was just most meme coins typically are on cheaper networks, right? So you won't find a lot of meme coin. Well, maybe today is different, right? But it was fun because, and we actually marketed here on Twitter, on X, and we had 10 people in our team, in our company, and they were all from Twitter. I didn't meet, I only met 2 of them in person. I never met the rest of them. And it was crazy, right? Because you never meet them, but so we'd have our Zoom meetings, right? Or actually our Discord, we did on Discord because Discord is better. Discord is awesome. I love Discord. But we had this one kid, he just graduated boot camp, and smart, genius kid. Like, I'm not gonna say his name in case they're watching, but genius kid, like super smart. He was gonna handle all of um, our website, all the payments, all those things that would make it work. And when we had our meeting, he lashed out on everybody. He just like let it like dropping, you did this wrong, and he wasn't doing it to be mean. It's because the way he operates is extremely analytical behind the scenes. He didn't have the people, the people skills, right? So me and Joey, we had to kind of like talk about how can we get him to not be in meetings and hurt people's feelings, right? Even though he was right, but he was super smart, and that kid was. And it's amazing. Kids can go to boot camp for 6 months. Are you familiar with boot camp and how it works?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
I didn't even know about it. Like, so basically, he went to this. It's like a crash course in coding and whatever, web design, all whatever it is that's in the tech industry. And once they get out, bro, they can get a job for like 170,000 a year, starting up to 3, 4. Like Twitter, when Elon bought it, right before he started firing everybody, the average, and I'm not going to disclose my source, but the average salary of an engineer was around 220,000 a year. That's the average salary. That's not including meals, not including vacation and all the other benefits. So their salary would be anywhere from 350 to 400,000 a year. And you can
Wow.
see why Elon had to fire so many people, because
Yeah.
there's a lot. They were very there's a lot of fat. So,
Yeah.
but anyway,
There's a lot of yeah, no, there's a lot of trimming that
mhm.
needs to take place. And yeah, like so as far as like those tech boot camps and stuff like that, like I think working in startups, like I've worked in startups and like we literally did like a migration from Zoho CRM to Salesforce at one of my last biotech
Ooh,
startups. And
Salesforce is huge.
yeah, so
They're
that
the
was
largest. They're the largest, if I'm not mistaken, right?
yeah,
In
they're
terms
one of the
of
biggest
staff, yeah.
CRMs. Yeah. Yeah, they're a lot of staff. And you know, what typically would take like a year, like we did it in 6 months. Yeah. So it was an accelerated process. But I mean, and I didn't know Salesforce, right? Like I didn't know it. But guess what? Like my head of marketing was like, hey, Justin, you got to be the subject matter on Salesforce now. And I was like, all right, cool. So let's do this, right? So I roll up my sleeves, and a lot of people may not know this about me. Some people do, but like my background is IT, right? So like I did IT consulting for my first like 10 years of my career. I had 400 clients. I made $1 million in 5 years, but I only netted 50, 40, 50 grand. And that was because it taught me an important lesson about profit, right?
Mhm.
So, but I was also going to school as well. I was bootstrapping my way through business school, I call it, right? So I was running this company full time, going to school part time. Took me 10 years to graduate, top the business program. And but having that technical background and being, my leaving IT and getting into marketing, it was nice progression for me, and I really enjoyed that. And I just got burnt out with IT. I didn't want to do it anymore, right? I just lost the passion, lost the interest. But digital marketing, I was like, oh wow, okay, this is exciting, right? Like this whole, what I was really drawn to, honestly, is this whole internet millionaire lifestyle. Okay, I
Mhm.
was like, I want that. Like, sign me up. Where I want to make money online. Like, who doesn't want that, right? So I dove deep. Like, literally got taught myself a PhD in digital marketing in like 6 months. I was up till 2 in the morning, 20 days a month, and I went back to my top IT clients and I said, "Hey, you have a website. How's it working for you?" And they're like, "Not good." I was like, "Okay, well, I figured out this whole digital marketing thing. I would love to, help drive some traffic to your website, get you some leads, and generate some revenue. Does that sound appealing to you?" They're like, "Yeah, that sounds really good." So that I basically shut down that IT business, gave all my clients to my head tech, and just
So
went
how many
full.
years? How many years were you in IT?
About 10 years.
I
Yeah.
call IT guys. I call them cave dwellers. That's what I call them. Typically, my cousin runs IT department. I can't remember who for, but he was running IT for the banks in Hawaii, and then he moved to Vegas. But I call him he's a cave dweller because he's always in a back room somewhere, fixing problems or troubleshooting or sending guys to go fix this or that. And it's funny because he's actually extremely introverted, but he's super funny in person. If you just have a I think part of it, he's got all this information and he's a watcher, right? So he sees everything that's going on and he knows everything about you. He's one of those guys, right? He'll go into your computer. Is like one day and I can't remember when I gave him access, but my mouse was moving on my computer. I'm like, hey, what the heck? I said, Paul, is that you? He goes, oh yeah, sorry, because I meant to tell you I got to check something real quick. I'm, okay, whatever. He's on my computer, so he's one of those guys. Like he knows everything, but
That's
he
funny.
he is one of those guys. He's super smart. And he's doing really well financially. One of the things he said that they outsource a lot of their team to Saudi Arabia,
Hmm.
so their pay rate is so much lower, obviously, than obviously United States, but it's not as low as like the Philippines. So, they're paying a little bit more, but at least they're getting good work, and the language barrier is not as bad. Because the Philippines, he said, was really rough, like hard to understand what they're saying. And
Hmm.
but how did you transition from IT to? Because would you agree that IT versus marketing, you going from back end to front end, is that an accurate transition? Like in terms of people wise?
Well, so I've always been a people person.
Yeah, yeah,
So even though I've been a technician, right? Like, all the 400 clients that I got, that was like me selling myself and my company to businesses, right? That had computer problems. And so just being a people person, and I've never really considered myself an introvert. I've always been an extrovert. I'm an ENTJ, Myers-Briggs.
yeah.
And I want to shout out TNT real quick. So
Yep.
TNT, you need to DM me if you need any help with Salesforce Pardot. I'm certified Salesforce Pardot specialist. So if any of you need any help there, let me know. Like I can take care of some of that Pardot stuff. That's my jam now. After doing that migration, I went and got the certification because I was like, hey, I just finished a huge migration. I know Salesforce Pardot now pretty well. Let me just study up for this. So I literally spent 30 days, and then I went and took the test in San Diego, and I passed it, right? And I scored high on some good areas and scored low on some other ones. But I was like, yeah, I did this, And then, I'm also Cisco certified network administrator. I used to run cabling. I used to program routers. I used to set up servers, all that stuff, and Microsoft certified and all that. But it was much easier to sell IT consulting than it is marketing. Okay. And much easier sell. Why? Because people have a problem with their computer and it's costing their company like maybe thousands, millions, right? So it's a lot easier to sell, your service, right? Versus marketing, right? It's not, yeah, they could be spending millions of dollars, not getting a return on investment, but it's like it's not as big of a fire to put out, if you will, right? So that's one thing I've noticed about, and I get plenty of prospects and clients. I'm looking to take on a couple more clients right now, some big accounts. Wouldn't hurt. I'm talking to a couple companies here. I'm limiting my time with LaunchCart right now, just because I'm not going to really get into it, but I'm just limiting my time with them now, and so I'm looking for other opportunities right now on top of the three things that I mentioned earlier. So, but yeah, it was a pretty seamless transition for me from getting out of IT into marketing, and I haven't looked back. And one reason why too, I'll say, is when it comes to IT, like you solve a problem and then you kind of move on, right?
Right.
With marketing, no. Like you're constantly improving, right? So okay, I got 5% conversion rate. Okay, now I need 10, right? That doesn't happen with IT. You solve the problem, you're done.
Yeah.
But I'm all about personal development. I'm all about personal growth, that. And so that's why I'm all about like digital marketing and improving, right? And it's like constant improvement. What can we do to improve this campaign, right? What can we do? And I've literally run, over 1,000 campaigns, and majority of them fail, right? Majority of them fail.
Yeah.
But when you have those ones that hit, you take those learnings and then you can just continue moving on with, with your framework, right? I developed a framework that I
It's about
use for.
numbers, right? It's like my dad's a great photographer, and one time I went to assist him at a wedding. So he did a wedding. He did it for free, I think. So he said, "Hey, you take this camera, you just do all the candidates." So my dad's doing, whatever he's doing, portraits, and so I took like probably 1,000 pictures. I think 1,000 pictures in a matter of like 2 hours. And my dad took like, about 800, maybe not even 800. I think he took like maybe 500 or something. And it's funny that out of the 1,000 I took, I think he used 2 pictures. So the closing percentage is not good, right? But had I not taken 1,000, he probably would never have gotten the 2. Now, of course, my dad's expertise, it shows he's a lot better, because out of the 500, he was able to process maybe about 50 to 60 photos for the wedding. So he's better. If we equate that to sales and marketing, he did a better job of closing, and he's a master at it, right? So, but I was thinking when he was talking, you ever heard of John Earl Schoaf? You ever heard that name before? He is a singular reason why I think Jim Rohn, you know who Jim Rohn is?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Jim Rohn talks about him all the time. But he is the guy that got Jim Rohn started in business. And one of his most famous quotes is, "Who I am speaks so loudly. Actually, who you are speaks so loudly, I cannot hear what you say. And who I am speaks so loudly, I cannot hear what you say." So be careful what you create. Be careful what you create. And that's one of the quotes that Jim Rohn always references to. If you listen to his old tapes before they got all the digital, he references John Earl Schoaf, who was a master at not just sales and marketing, but the mindset of how to relate with people, whether it's marketing or sales. And then we all know Jim Rohn ended up mentoring people like Tony Robbins and Zig Ziglar and all those people, right? Jerry Bala is another great guy. A lot of people don't know him, but Jerry Bala was one of Jim Rohn's students and genius in the era of marketing and all that. But I will say, hey, so what is? I know it's Christmas coming up in the next, I don't know, 2 weeks. Are you going to be pushing hard to the end of the year? Are you going to take a break, spend time with family? What is your schedule going to look like in the next 3 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pushing hard every day. You know,
Gotta make that
I'm
moolah.
yeah, I'm pushing hard right now. Yeah, just because, I'm I just love the hustle. I love the grind. But yeah, I'm gonna take some time off for the holiday. Things slow down a little bit naturally, right?
Yep.
But I'm 43, right? So, my window of opportunity here is like I want to be like my goal is to be like semi-retired at like 50, right? So I'm 43. So I got to put in, some hard work here in the next few years,
Hmm.
but it's entirely possible, right? It's entirely
Yeah.
possible. And so that's what I'm really focusing. And I have a daughter and stuff as well who's 3, and so she really is my big why. But getting back to the personal development for a second, so do you know who T. Harv Eker is by
Of
chance?
course. Yeah. Did I
Oh,
get it?
I got something to play for you.
I
Or
have it in storage somewhere. Yeah, of course. Yeah, he's awesome.
if I DM you something, can you play something?
Yeah, you can. What do you have it on? What file?
Oh, it's just a YouTube link.
Yeah, just send it. I'll put it up on screen. Just DM
Okay.
DM. No,
Okay.
T. Harv Eker is he wrote one of the Millionaire books, if I'm not mistaken. The
Yes.
Millionaire Mind, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. It's been a while since I read that book, but yeah, I know exactly who he is.
Okay. I'm gonna DM you this video if you could play it. And
Yeah, of course.
yeah, I think everyone will love this, and you'll love it too, because like very few people know who he is. They know Tony Robbins, but when I say T.R. Vecker, they might not know who he is, right? So,
Yeah.
um,
Okay, I'm pulling
and
it
by the
up
way, you have
now.
a great setup here. This is a great overlay here. This is
Oh, this
very
is,
clean.
yeah, one of my distracting ones.
Oh, with the
That's
waves, you mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I kind of like
Um,
it.
I like it when it's laid back, but whenever I do a podcast, I try to make it less busy. Just I want to focus on the speaker. So okay, it's a Vimeo is how you say it.
Vimeo, yeah, Vimeo.
Vimeo. I made it offensive. Vimeo. Okay, let's play it. There we go. I didn't know that's what he looks like. Interesting. Okay.
Hey, this is T. Harv Eker. I'm the founder of Peak Potentials Training. We brought Justin in to do social media for us, and we're so happy that we did. Why? Because he's bringing in revenue, he's bringing in income. We're getting a lot of hits, and he is a rock star. So I'm so thrilled that he's with us. Thank you so much, Justin.
Yeah.
Is that his real hair?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
kidding.
That was a few years ago. That was from like 20. I worked with him from like 2010 to 2014. So it's been, a few years, right? But yeah, like I worked with him for that time and really got to rework on my mindset because I had a hard time after getting out of the IT business.
Hmm.
I lost some of my investment properties, the real estate crash, right? Like it was a tough time for me, like for many people. But then I remember like putting in a CD that my mom gave me, the 25 Secrets of Wealth Creation by Kevin Trudeau. I put it in my car and I was like, I kind of made my pact with God again. And I was like, look, I need help. Like, I need you to guide me here because, I made $1 million. I only netted 50 grand. I lost my investment properties. Like, I need help here, right? And because I was very money driven in my 20s, right? I'll just be honest and say it, right? I was very money driven in my 20s. I wasn't purpose driven. Right now, I'm all about being purpose driven and a provider, right? Versus like in your 20s, you're like, trying to prove yourself,
Yep.
and you're all about that, that money, right? And
Yep.
I just I wasn't in a good frame of mind, which is why I didn't receive all those blessings accordingly. And so I really had to reprogram my mind. I put in that CD for my mom, listened to it in my car. Within 2 weeks, I had an interview here in San Diego for TR Vector's company, Peak Potentials Training. I brought my PowerPoint, I brought my laptop with the marketing director. I said, hey, I'm a digital marketing guy. They're looking for a digital marketing guy. And I got the job. And so not only was I able to do digital marketing, but I was also able to work on myself, personally, and my mindset, and reprogram from that loss, and just kind of reset and then rebuild myself back up. Right. And so into the Ronin I am today. So
I got to ask you about that. Why a Ronin? Of all the cultures and all the warrior cultures on the planet, why a Ronin?
yeah, so growing up in my youth, I was, loved watching martial art movies,
Yep.
Bruce Lee, Jet Li, fill in the blank, right? Even, some of the Tony Jaa and like all these martial art movies, and even the ones with like subtitles, in Chinese or Japanese, right? Like those were good. I could understand the storyline. I couldn't understand the language, but I just loved the storytelling, right? Of the way of the warrior, the hero's journey. Uh, you know, I just loved it, right? And I was infatuated by the book Sun Tzu, Art of War.
Mm.
Right, that was a game changer for me, like business wise. I was like, okay, this is good, right? I jive with this. I love sushi. I love Japanese food. I love Japanese products. I drive a Japanese car, right? Like I just I'm all about it. And wasn't until I got some coaching last year, some life coaching, and she's like, you know what, Justin, like you're like the Ronin samurai. And I was like, oh, oh my gosh. And the light bulb went off, and I'm like, it was staring at me in my face like the whole time. And then I was like, you're right. And the main distinction I say simply is that a samurai traditionally has a master, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But the Ronin samurai is considered masterless, right? Maybe his master had passed away, or fill in the blank, right? Something happened in the battlefield and now he's on his own. And so I've kind of always felt that, where, the Ronin is a bit of a rogue, samurai, right? He's on his own mission, his own independence. And that's exactly, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And so entrepreneurs are like a Ronin, is my main ethos here. And it's all about embracing that journey of independence and adaptability. And, without a master, we forge our own paths, right? And guided by that vision and resilience mostly. And if you rewind the clock too, even when I worked in corporate, right, as a marketer, I was still doing my own thing outside, because I had this desire inside me that, like, man, I got to build my own thing. I got to do my own thing, right?
Yep.
And so, and I took the unconventional approach here, gLO, right? Like typically it's, hey, go to school, get a job, get retirement, all that stuff, right? For me, it was, go to high school, graduate high school, start a business, and go to school at the same time and run my business. And then I had to take a step back from business and get into corporate, right? But I was still doing my own thing inside of corporate. But now I don't have a corporate job anymore, and I'm all in. Like I'm
Yep.
all in. And that's why this Ronin energy is high right now, right? It's high. I'm all in, and we're building right here on X.
So do you speak Japanese?
I don't know.
Okay, I'll teach you a little bit. You know how to say good morning in Japanese? This one's real easy. So good morning in Japanese is you say Ohio, which is the state, right? Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And then you say gozaimasu. So in Japanese, you say Ohio gozaimasu. And you say hi, which is like kind of like yeah, or like you acknowledge it. So Ohio gozaimasu is good morning. Konnichiwa is hello, yeah, honey?
Yes, konnichiwa. I know that one. That's
Konnichiwa.
hello or hi, yeah.
And a lot of times if you're in the presence of elders, you always put your head down. If you look up, it's extremely disrespectful, right? So, Ohayou gozaimasu, and then when they acknowledge you, then you can. The traditional I almost said Hawaiian. The traditional Japanese culture is very respectful, right? Kudasai or kudasai is please. I can fake it because I used to work around Japanese people. But I learned a phrase, so it's and I say this all the time. My wife is like, "Oh my God, Gregory, you say that all the time." So here's one I'll tell you, and you can watch the replay. So it's ichido kuruma o ugokashite kudasai, and what that says is, "Can you please drive your car around one time?" So when I say this to Japanese people, they look at me like, "What?" Like the words are right, but the grammar is incorrect. So they have to put the words together because Japanese is similar to Hawaiian, where we say, like, for example, last name is always first, right? Especially you talking about Ronin, Samurai. If you watch any MMA fighting from Pride, do you remember Pride fighting?
Yeah. Yep.
So whenever they would introduce Sakuraba, who is probably the legend in Pride fighting championships, they would always yell his last name first. They would go Sakuraba, right? And then they go to first name. But the idea of the grammar with Japanese language, it's one language I think is one of my favorite to listen to, and the honor of Japanese culture. That's why I was asking why Ronin, but like Japanese culture, some of my best friends, man, like he said in Japan, especially in Tokyo, more so Tokyo in the cities, like you do not work less than 14 to 16 hours a day. That's just understood. You don't ask questions. You just work. Even if you work McDonald's, you work 10 to 14 hours a day. And then you don't complain. You just do it. And then in some corporate jobs, they take a break. I don't know what time, but they'll take a break and they'll take a nap. And in the mornings before they all start, they'll do like a stretching routine. They do, I don't know if it's yoga, I don't know what they do, but the entire office, they just do these stretches, and it's very strongly traditional and a lot of honor. I think one of the things I admire about Japanese culture is that they really honor and they take pride in the workmanship.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know I don't know if you catch that, but that's why I was asking you why Ronin, so.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. Yeah, hopefully I gave a good explanation. You gave a pretty solid explanation on the Japanese culture, much better than I could have. So, but yeah, it's just, I just wanted a brand that was mine, right? I had been thinking about this for the last like 4 months and being on X, and it's like, what can I build that I can maybe have the option to sell in the future if I want, right? Like
Smart.
if and so the Revenue Ronin was born. And so I got the domain, I got the X handle, and I got the community going now. And we have about 7 Ronins officially from the X community. One of them I met outside of X. He's local here in San Diego. And yeah, like my mission is very clear. It's like I want to create a mastermind community of 1,000 fellow Ronins on this journey towards sales and marketing mastery, and bringing in revenue.
When you said sell, are you referencing to like building and branding and a product, and eventually you walk away from it and you sell that, or is that what you were saying?
Yeah. So again, like the sales and marketing mastery mastermind community,
Yeah.
like as I build that to like 1,000 Ronins, hopefully, right? Like that's my mission. And my purpose is like, I want to create 1,000 fellow Ronins that are like Christelle shared on a space like a couple weeks ago, how, she closed a big deal and she's like, Justin was able to help me negotiate like getting payment up front. Right. Like these are the types of things I'm teaching, right? Like if you're an ex creator, right, and you want to bring in more revenue, right, this is the community for you. Why? Because I'm teaching sales and marketing mastery so that you can build a business and you can bring in more revenue. That's what I do. I've generated millions of dollars for companies, millions. Okay. And so I'm teaching these principles to to the students, and I'm a Ronin just like them, right? There's no hierarchy here. Like I'm not, above, like we're all fellow Ronins, right? Like I had to deem Vladimir in a post today as like we're highlighting a special Ronin today, Vladimir, right? Because he's the Ronin, he's blazing new trails, right? So but yeah, so I want to have the option to sell it as an asset in the future, right? Like if
Nice.
I build it up, and there's the community part, but then there's the agency part, right? So I'm doing client work now. So clients come to me and they're like, "Hey, Justin, I need my Google ads run, right? Or hey, I need leads for my mortgage company, right? Or hey, I need fill in the blank, right?" They ultimately, let's be honest, any client that I take in now, the conversation is, do you need more revenue with your marketing? Yeah, I need that. I want that. It's a very simple conversation, right? I'm all about simplification, right? Like the digital realm is very complex, but I'm all about breaking that down, right? I
Mm-hmm.
make things very simple, right? And shout out to Timo, shout out to Dan Ryan, shout out to Christelle, shout out to Eric, shout out to Cameron McNerney, and shout out to Josh Walsh. Like those are, my fellow Ronins right now. And we're on this journey together, building things and bringing in revenue.
I think one of the things we don't talk a lot about, at least I don't see it. And by the way, to my Twitch viewers, I see you, so thank you for jumping in. I appreciate you. And then to my YouTube Ghost Town, share it
You can
out,
see
brother.
all
What
that?
the
You can see all that in the dashboard or
Yeah,
something? Oh,
yeah. I
that's
have a
cool.
dashboard.
Okay.
It shows me.
Nice. That's cool.
And I have comments, but I don't put them up. I don't always put them up. But the one thing we don't talk a lot about, I think, is in the area of when we talk about revenue, right? Is
Mm-hmm.
understanding the relationship between what it takes to be successful, right? And one of the things that we've learned is that there's basically two forms of ways to generate revenue. For anybody that's read Cash Flow Quadrant, we understand the B and the I, E and the S's, right? We don't want to be on the left side. We want to be on the right side of the quadrant as much as
Yes.
possible.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you like if you're the B and the I, you need the E's and S's, right?
Yes.
So, but the idea that I don't see a lot of it now is that we don't have a lot of people talking about the basic fundamentals of offering a product or a service. If you have a product or a service that people gotta have, which is key, right? But the other part of it, if they need it or they get it replenished at least every month or every so often, where that revenue keeps coming in, if you can find out what that is and if it works for you, that's really the basic fundamentals of it, right? And I think we get so enthralled by getting I don't know the term what to call it, and we're going to talk about X, but like this idea of I call it upfront money. It's a short term investment to get people to come in while the FOMO is hot right now. The FOMO is really hot on X. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people they have this fear of missing out. If I don't engage, I'm not going to make money. But when the dust settles, if you don't have a product or a service, you're just going to delete the app eventually, and you're gonna be like, oh man, this didn't work, I gotta go find something else. The FOMO hype is so strong on X because they're throwing out a lot of money initially, but I want to encourage people, you got to have a product or a service that people either see value in it, and where you don't kill yourself in hours to deliver that product, where you can at least get. One of the best things is offering a product on your website or on X or even YouTube, whatever platform, and people can click on it and buy it. You wake up tomorrow morning and you look at your account and like, oh, okay, I made a little. I don't care if it's $7, $10, or it could be $1,000, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah,
So-
we don't talk about that a lot, right?
Yeah, like we don't talk about it enough because, yeah, like I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with other creators that, they're not here to make money on X, and that's fine, right? It's you don't have to make money here. That's fine. But I've taken the different approach as loving business, loving teaching, showing others how to do business online, bring in revenue through sales and marketing, things that I love and know and, teach, and seeing success like Christelle and success like, some of these one-on-ones that I've had with, like even Nick. He's not like, he's not a fellow Ronin right now, but he had a consultation with me and he's like, wow, the value that Justin gave in one of his free 30-minute sessions, like that's going to bring in another couple grand in revenue for me as my for his ghostwriting business. See, these are the things that drive me, right? Because when I see people win and they're bringing in more revenue, that means I'm doing something right. That drives me more. And another testament is to all the people that are coming in the Startup Circle. I'm teaching them these things, these sales strategies, they're, tips, tricks, how to close more deals, like what's the ideal point of purchase, like the keys to the follow-up, right? Like, all these things. And people are just like, wow, like I'm making more money. So if I can help more people make more money, my byproduct is I'm going to make more money, right?
Yep.
So that's the same thing I do. And that's only on a micro level on X, but I do it at a macro level for my clients, right? Like this biotech startup I was at, right? I brought them a lot of revenue, right? With marketing. So, but I just love seeing what's happening on X and here's the prediction for 2025. Are you ready?
Let's hear it.
Okay. I predicted, Bitcoin to hit 100K back in February of 2021 on my old YouTube channel. Okay. It's called the Entrepreneur Hour. For 2025, we kind of already see the writing on the wall, but I'll just spell it out. So personal brand, guys. If you are on X, you're building your personal brand, you're ahead of the game, right? Ad dollars are going to continue moving over to this platform as we head into 2025. So you want to prime your personal brand and make sure you're ready for potential sponsorship deals, brand deals. It's already happened with AI creators, like, some of these Hendo and other AI creators are getting like sponsored now by some of these AI companies. Like, hey, I'm a creative, creative whatever ambassador for this, runway or whatever, right? So it's already happening with AI. And so and this is just natural stuff that's been going on in business for years. It's no different. It's just riding the AI wave now. And then micro influencers, micro payments, and micro communities.
I think I agree with you. I want to talk about that because that's kind of what I do. And I shared a little bit in some spaces. So for people that are on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and Rumble, if you don't know what we're talking about, spaces is basically like an audio podcast with a bunch of people in your house, and they're all just talking. And so, anyways, one of these spaces I talked about the micro influencing and people willing to pay money for people just doing what we're doing. And I want to talk about branding as well. If you're okay, I want to do a real quick 36-second break. I want to pay some bills. You cool with that, Justin?
Yeah, I got about 15 more minutes. So
okay,
yeah, let's do it.
Let's take a quick 36-second break. We'll be back in 36 seconds. Going to get a word from one of our sponsors. Today's episode is brought to you by One Shot Energy Voice Drops. They are a low-sugar yuzu honey lozenge that soothes and protects your throat and voice with an infusion of slippery elm, marshmallow, and licorice root. Whether you are a full-time gamer, public speaker, pastor, preacher, teacher, maybe you like doing podcasting, you got to get your hands on these voice drops by oneshotenergy.com. Be sure to use my promo code AMBGLO for 10% off your entire order. oneshotenergy.com. Today's episode is brought to you by One Shot Energy. I keep it going on loop. What the heck, Greg? Turn it off loop. But I agree with the branding. And the thing is, people get caught up on a product or a service as their branding, or a niche, whatever. I don't know what it is. And Tala, you know Tala very well. She's known, like, for me, when I first started on social media, I didn't do Instagram, Facebook. I didn't do like pictures or video. I didn't do text. I started with video because that's just, I loved it. I enjoyed it. I didn't know what I was doing, but I migrated to other things because I found that there is always somebody better than you at a product or a service. No matter, I don't care what it is. That's just my belief. I might be wrong. I've been wrong a few times, but I found that if you develop a branding that is you, nobody can steal that. Nobody can copy it. They can't copy you. There's some great examples of that. Now, obviously, you want to stick in something that you're good at, but there's some great examples. Like, I'll use Donald Trump as an example. It's probably not the best example, but he could put a product out and people will buy it. A lot of his businesses fail, but people still bought it. Theo Vaughn's a podcaster. People buy his t-shirts all the time, and he's a comedian. So it's not just, you don't just buy a shirt because it's good quality, like made in America. You buy the t-shirt because you like Theo Vaughn, right? So
yeah, that's the emotional aspect.
Yeah.
Like, people are emotionally drawn to gLO and to Tala's stories, right? And to Justin's story about the Ronin, and TNT's story, and Vladimir's story, right? People are drawn to our personal brands, our stories, and the relationship we have. Even Nick said on a space last night I was listening to, he's like, "Oh, Tala, I went and bought a couple of your mugs or whatever." I guess she's selling some mugs or something, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So see, like, that's the way creators supporting creators, right? So I've supported plenty of creators here on X, forked out money. I was one of the first sponsors on Vladimir's 100-day challenge. I was the first sponsor. Why? Because I want to support creators, right? Like, that are friends of mine, that are doing cool things that I want to get behind, right? And so people buy emotionally, and then they rationalize it logically, right? And if you have a personal brand, right, you can do multiple things. And that's why I love using Elon as a perfect example here, because Elon's personal account has more X followers than Tesla. It has more X followers than Starlink. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
Justin is the brand, gLO is the brand, and then you have some other handles or other brands that it goes back to the ESBI, right? It's you're being the business owner. You're owning that system, that brand that's doing the work for you, right? And that book, ESBI, it's that we're referencing here, for those who don't know, it was one of my first books I read that really opened my eyes. Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and then the Cash Flow Quadrant, which is the employee, self-employed, business owner, and investor, right? Like, this was like foundational reading for when I was
book,
18.
That book made me cry, literally, because when I read it, I'm like, oh my God, this is what I've been doing. And my dad actually went to school with him. So he's from Hilo, Hawaii. That's where my dad's from. Well, I'm from Hilo too, but my dad said, yeah, he was always one of those kids that was kind of to himself. And he's kind of a little bit older now. He wrote a book with Donald Trump as well. It's called Why We Want You to Be Rich. And but yeah, so yeah, for people that don't know, the employee, and we'll talk a little bit about this, but I want to go back into the micro influencing.
Well, can I just end on the Rich Dad Poor Dad story for a second?
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't know this, but I worked for TR Vecker Peak Potentials, and I found out that the real rich dad in that book was really a gentleman by the name of Keith Cunningham. And if you Google Keith Cunningham and do a little reading on him, like, and hear about his story, you'll see, like, wow, okay. And Keith Cunningham, he speaks on stages. You know, he spoke on Harv stage. He speaks at, or used to speak on Tony Robbins's stage. But he was the real rich dad in the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, and a lot of people don't know that. So, yeah, the name Keith Cunningham. Yeah, look that up. And I actually met him too. And he's brilliant. He's a brilliant business mind. Oh my God.
I know there was a little bit of. Hold on, let me tell my son good night. Love you.
Okay.
Love you too. But I remember there was a little, I don't want to say drama, or there was a little bit of like, they wanted to be really private.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he didn't name them in the book, right? But it's a legit story. I know there's some pushback to his story for some, and not everybody, but regardless of the story in itself, the details, just the principles, even the game Rat Race, or I think that was the name.
Cash flow game.
Cash flow, yeah, cash flow. Sorry,
game.
cash flow.
Yeah.
But yeah, those books, I have it somewhere. The other one that I have, it's really good. It's Fake, and I have the Capitalist Manifesto by Robert Kiyosaki. Great book.
Okay.
Well, for people that don't know what we're talking about, the ESBNI. So typically, for those that are on the employee and the S, basically they're in the same category. They work linear, right? They trade hours for dollars, and what that means is you work 8 hours, you get paid for 8 hours. People that have income that is not linear, which can be passive or can be, residual, are the B's and the I's. And the B is actually big business, right? So for people that don't know that, I think Kiyosaki categorizes it as like 500. If you got a minimum 500 employees, and if you can leave your job or your business for 6 months to a year, come back and your income hasn't changed, you're a big business. And I actually know people that, and then of course the I is the investor. Those are people that are very investor savvy. But the dream, right, is for us to get into the B and the I. And there's nothing wrong with employees, because I mean, even self-employed, I think self-employed is worse, because self-employed, as a matter of fact, I talked to this mechanic yesterday. He owns his own shop. And I said, what time do you guys close? I went back and I said, you guys close at 6? He goes, yeah, I close my doors at 6, but I'm going to be here all night. I said, yeah, you have to be here, because after you close the doors, you got to do receipts, books, whatever. You got to do your deposits. You got to do whatever, close up shop. And I think that self-employed is one of the worst. Like, and unfortunately, family, if you are an entrepreneur and you're not building the B and I column, you're still self-employed, right? And but
yeah, that's the harsh reality for people.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been there. You've been there too, I'm sure, right? I mean, we've all kind of been there. But yeah, ultimately, that's why I'm all about, like, the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. So whatever you can do, you have your investments, and you need that mindset of diversification, and I've been all 4 at one time. So don't think that you just can be in one or the other. I've been all 4 at one. I've been an employee, I've been a business owner, I've been self-employed, and I've been an investor, all at the same time. So, but yeah. So
how you doing on time?
Yeah, I got about 5 more minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you want to get back to the micropayments or something else?
I thought I heard micro influencer, but maybe I heard differently.
Yeah, micro influencer. Yeah.
So like that ad that I play, for anybody that's seen that little ad, that's a company called One Shot Energy. There's these agencies that and I know it's not about the money, but hey, if you're going to spend your time out here and you're willing to do it, there's companies willing to pay you commissions. Some of them will pay you. So if you ever hear me say this episode is brought to you by, or if one of our company sponsors, or there's different verbiage, right? So And there's different tiers. So there are agencies willing to pay people that are quote unquote content creators, influencers, and you can find on Google. And some of them have requirements. You know, you get some of them, you got to have minimum of 5,000 followers on this platform, on that platform. Unfortunately, X is not on the radar for a lot of these companies yet. But if you're able to email them and reach out to them, some of them, you know, like for example, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, I have 5 right now, and they're all commission based. And then Archon mounts, though, they're amazing. They've the first 2 years I've been with them, they put out I think $40,000 in products just in giveaways. I'm not even exaggerating. So when I went to Arcadia to meet with the owner of the company, he took me and Joey, my business partner, who I always talk about, took us to lunch. We did a whole factory tour. We spent time. They have this media studio there. We did all the promos. We did the commercials, and he just he treated us like celebrity VIPs. And so when we went live, and great company, and they're willing to pay commissions, but also do all the promos, you know. And I will say, even today, even though the company went through some changes, great company. So my whole point is, there's a lot of companies willing to pay people. It's not like the old days where they give you a ton of money. A lot of times it's just either products or commission based. There are some companies that will pay you up front, or actually they'll pay you after you reach a certain milestone. There's one called, I think it's called Stream Elements. So if you do like a promo of a video game or a product or service, they'll pay you. Some of them pay 300, 600. It just depends on what it is. So I just want to throw that out there for anybody that, you know, you look to make
I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, because I want to talk a little bit about like the 2025 realm now. So now that you have community spaces, right, on X, I think there's going to be big opportunity. So for sponsorships. So like, for example, you know, let's say I'm hosting a space in the startup circle next year, and, you know, Salesforce wants to maybe, you know, hey, sponsor an episode, right? What does that look like? You know, like, you know, we have 1,000 by next year. We're having 2,000 people on the spaces that I'm hosting, right? What is that worth to them to have a plug in there, right? What is that worth? I'm showing them the metrics. I'm showing them the engagement. I'm showing them my X profile metrics, right? I mean, this is where we're going, right? And it's very attractive. And look, I don't need, you know, and I've been tagging right now. I've been tagging Salesforce. I've been tagging Infinity. I've been tagging Celsius. I've been tagging the brands that.
Did you get Celsius yet?
Not yet. No.
Not yet.
Not yet. No.
I tell people just email them. Most of them will get back to you usually in a week. But I even reached out to ButcherBox. You ever heard of ButcherBox? They do they drop ship steak. I think it's called Butcher.
Wow.
And I said, what a great company. If I get that company to say, you know what, we'll so most sponsorships, so there's affiliate, right? So you have affiliate. Typically sponsors are people that bring in a lot of numbers. Or they just like you. It's going to be one of the two. Tiffany Fong would be a great example. They probably would sponsor her, meaning they would pay her to talk about the products. So for mine, I'll do one, two, you know, in the podcast, I try to do 3 or 4 placements. So usually in the beginning, middle, and end, if I can remember, just so that there's a wider footprint, whether it's Archon, whether it's One Shot Energy or Dub. I think W Energy is another one of ours.
And this stream goes to a podcast as well. Yeah.
This one, I'm gonna watch it, and if it's good enough, I'll put it on Spotify, Apple Podcast. Okay. Sometimes there's, I don't know what it is. Sometimes there's hiccups on StreamYard's end, and I didn't click record on my device. So typically, I'll record audio on my mixer console. But we are definitely on Rumble, Kick, Twitch. What did I say? I just got to look at it. YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and Rumble. So we're definitely live on all those platforms. Nice. And the metrics are very interesting on those. I just wish that X would be a little bit more thorough. And I understand why they're not. I totally get it, because Joe is a former engineer, so I get it. There's a lot of things he won't come on live because he doesn't want the attention, because it's kind of like I think my dad was saying he knows a pilot, right? And one of the worst things a pilot can say, hey, I fly for American Airlines or United. And of course, what does everybody want? They want hookups. Hey, give me a buddy pass. Or so
Yeah.
I think engineers on X or any platform are the same. They don't want to tell everybody what they do, because it's like, hey, can you tell me how can I work around the almighty algorithm? But
it's funny you mentioned buddy pass, because I got a connection for a buddy pass opportunity here at a local spot here. So yeah, 2025. We're primed here, gLO. We're primed for some good things happening, and sponsorship or influencer marketing definitely on the table. I think we wouldn't be I won't be opposed to both, right? Like influencer marketing, affiliate marketing, and just to share with you a quick story. So when I did an influencer marketing campaign for a past hair care products manufacturer I used to work at doing marketing, I got like 10 influencers and we did a big promotion. I sent them product and, we moved the needle, right? But it was like 10 people promoting the same week, and, their sales went like this, right? And that's what you want to see. You want to see the sales jump up, right? So and all it cost us was product and then, my time, which as a marketer, I'm getting paid salary, right? So, and then the ROI of influencer marketing, there's I don't know if you saw this chart that I shared on my timeline recently, but it was by Neil Patel, who's someone I've been highly following for the last 14 years, digital marketer guy, very knowledgeable, one of those thought leaders that I've been following for a long time. He posted a graphic and said the ROI of influencer marketing, the highest is it's up to 34%, generally speaking, when it comes to micro influencers and micro communities and those people like under 100,000, compared to the negative ROI from celebrities. So celebrities are having less of an impact now, and people like Tala and gLO and the Revenue Ronin and Vladimir and TNT are starting to have more of an impact, right? Because it's that micro connection, that relationship, that trust.
Yeah.
Everything comes down to relationship and trust, right? If gLO says, hey, look, everyone, we got to, buy a shirt to support Vladimir today because, his account is gone off of X, his main account. He's going to be streaming over on Kick now. And so we just want to buy a shirt for him, and everyone's going to go buy a shirt for Vladimir, right? Like that's where we're going. And the return on investment is high. Brands are looking at it. These micro payments are going to be big, and micro influencers and real connections, as TNT says. Yeah, exactly, bro. Yeah, real connections, real people, real connections, real results, real transformation, real connections. That's what it's about here.
It's a bigger footprint, right? And most people won't assume that people like us are just doing it for the money, right? So when you get Kim Kardashian or you get Paris Hilton, we all know she got paid, right? We all know she got paid a huge dollar amount just to say, hey, I'm on X now. Another thing is, I think I don't know if people know this, and I don't think X does. I don't know because I don't have anybody on the inside. But prior to Elon buying out the company, they had a lot of independent contractor agreements with a lot of influencers. So meaning, if you ever notice somebody, I'm not saying anybody has it today, but it does make you think. But so for our company, Egg Drop, we had about 40 or 50 influencers that we didn't pay them directly. Joey would pay them either through products or services or give them a discount. Some of them he would pay directly, and he would pay them from his own personal finance. But then we learned that one of our influencers, he asked us, and I brought this up before, so I don't want to overhash it, but he basically asked us in private, hey, this is what Twitter's paying me. Can you match that? And we're like, what? No, we can't match. And so, and what we learned was it was a system that they would pay certain people and their metrics would go through the roof. And we're like, now it makes sense. Right. And now it makes sense. So going back to the micro influencer, there's not a huge demand for, we're not going to say, we want our $50,000 check before we just want to do it because we enjoy doing these relationship marketing. We love sharing what we like. I use the products anyway, so I might as well just promote it. And that's where the strength. And I think from a company, it's genius. They're using people that are not demanding high paychecks, but yet they still have a good reach. If your footprint is wide enough, I think it's a genius, and everybody wins, right? For the most part, hopefully.
Yeah, those are some good points, and I'll just add on here, gLO, to round it out here, and then I gotta drop off here. I got a early workout in the morning, so gotta stay on my routine. But
come on, work harder.
So if I already love like Salesforce, if I already love Infinity, the brand, if I already love Celsius drinks, if I already love, Archon mounts, right? If I already love these products and I use them, I live them daily, right? And I'm talking about them already online. I'm talking about them in spaces, on lives. I'm talking about them in the timeline. If I'm already doing that, right? There's no reason why they wouldn't be compelled to say, wow, you know what? I want to support gLO and Justin, what they're doing. Here's $100 a month. Here's $100 a quarter, right? It doesn't have to be a lot. But then, and I'm going to get a big brand deal. I'm talking to a big brand right now. I can't say the name, but I'm talking to a big brand right now, gLO. Okay. And if I land this deal, okay, that's going to be a game changer for me. However big the amount, it doesn't matter, or small the amount, it doesn't matter. What matters is that I have a national brand, right? Can you imagine? Hey guys, Justin R. Results French here with today's Sales and Marketing Mastery Minute. Today's episode is sponsored by insert brand, national brand here. And then I go on with my tip, right? And I do those daily, right? I do these daily, okay? So can you imagine what that's going to be like from moving into 2025? It's going to be big. It's going to be big. I average 100,000 impressions a month.
It's going to be huge.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. Like the world has never seen.
That's where we're going. So I'm excited, and it's really just being real, being authentic, and, making a little bit of money along the way as we're building here. And what better way to do it than with products we already know and love and enjoy and tell people about anyways.
Yep.
So I think I have a picture of me by my Infinity car from like 2013. I'm doing a YouTube video and I'm like, hey, Infinity, this is Justin. I'm a big fan of your car, your brand. Like, I'm all about business and sport and luxury. This is why I love the car. It fits me, my MO perfect. I'm a business guy. Like I got videos of this from like 2013.
You just did it for fun, or what was that?
Yeah, I had a YouTube channel. I put out like 500 videos. 500.
That's a lot.
Not all on Infinity, but on my tips, right? So like these marketing minutes. Dude, I've been doing these videos for a long time. Yeah, I've been doing this a long time.
That's what I was asking.
And I hit a lot of them. I'm going to slowly start dripping them out.
So nobody gave you Infinity? Nobody gave you a free Infinity?
No, I did not get Infinity. I bought my Infinity for $22,000 back in, whatever year that was, 2007. I don't know. But yeah, like.
That's funny. Yeah. That's cool.
But because I was like, I had the same mindset then that I have now, that like, I want to get a brand deal from Infinity. This is what I want, right? Like, I'm passionate about the car. I love the brand. It was blue, this blue, right? Like, and I was putting it out there, putting content out there, right? And I made like 500 videos of like content.
That's a lot.
And I was starting to get monetized on with ad revenue, AdSense. It wasn't a lot, but I was starting to get monetized and stuff. But as you know, it's a lot to keep up on, right? Like it's a lot to generate, you know, all that SEO juice you have to do, and titling and tagging, and it's a lot of work, right? So I was just more putting out content for educational purposes and just, you know, just to get into that habit. But I'm glad I did it, because now it comes so natural to you and me, right? Other people, they may be challenged, but like you give me a mic on a space, or you give gLO a mic, like, you know, they're talking, they're educating, they're adding value, right? Or you put me in front of a camera, right? Like, let's do this. You want a master class right now? I'm down.
You got to send me that video. I want to watch it. It's funny
What,
you
the
bring that up.
Infinity one? The Infinity one? Oh
Yeah.
gosh, I'll have to find it now for you. Gosh, okay.
I used to do commercials.
You're gonna crack up.
Well, it's funny because we were a lot younger, I'm sure, but I think I was 22, 23. I used to do these commercials for Honda, and I would do the whole walk around. And so one of the bets we used to have was, I bet you can't get in the trunk, and it was just silly things. So we do this, and so we would record these commercials, and there's, I think, 4 or 5 of us would take turns doing features, and it was funny because, you know, back then I didn't know what I was doing. Like I didn't know how to like look at the camera, and I just knew about the car, the product, what I liked about it. But I wish I could find. I can't. They're so old, because I think it was like, I don't know how. That's like 20 years ago or whatever it was. And my voice was a lot higher. I was more like more, you know, excited and high voice, and you know, trying to now it's my voice is a little bit deeper and I sound a little bit more older. But if you can find a video, bro, I would love to watch it.
Okay, I'll see if I can drag up from the archives there. So
before you take your beauty rest, give us some top 3 pointers or words of encouragement before you head out.
Yeah, so my top 3 is my framework that I'm all about right now. It's the 3 P's, and it's purpose, passion, profit. Right? Find out what is your true purpose, you know, your calling, right? Finding that is hard. It can be hard, right? So what is your true purpose? Have a passion for it, right? Because and here's the hot take though, passion doesn't pay the bills. Okay. Profit, the next P, is what pays the bills. Okay. Because you can be very passionate about things, right? But unless you're bringing in revenue, right, you don't have a business, right? Yep. So the takeaway here is focus on your purpose, your passion, your profit. Make sure those things are in alignment. And as you embrace this entrepreneurial journey, which in a sense is like a Ronin, you know, just keep building. Just keep building. Don't stop. Like I've been building for over 25 years now, right? And I'm still building. And yeah, that's my takeaway. And I appreciate you having me on, gLO. This is awesome, man. Good conversation, man.
We're just
really
talking.
Enjoyed it, man. Really enjoyed it.
Well, thank you very much, Justin. For anybody that does not know who he is, if you go into X, it is Justin R. French. That's his user handle. He's a CMO for Lease, host Be Real X Talks. He is also on another account called The Revenue Ronin, and he his website is therevenueronin.com. And I just found out he is a December baby as well. Nice. We're both December babies, bro. That's the best month to be born.
When's your birthday?
December 4th. So I just turned 49.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, nice. Happy birthday. That was yesterday.
It was yesterday. Yes, it was.
Oh, nice. gLO, yeah. Happy birthday, man. And you're how old? How old do you know?
49. And you know what's funny?
49,
you talk about,
okay.
Yeah, there's a window, right? Dude, my dad is in his 70s. My dad told me the other day, you know what? I want to make, basically, my dad's like, I need to have another revenue stream. I said, well, let's talk about it. You know, my wife is a business major. Let's talk about it. My dad's obviously, he's a retired pastor, retired teacher. Him and my mom used to have a cleaning business. My dad's, it's been around the block, you know, and they were real estate investors as well. They had 4 or 5, I think 5 properties total. But anyways, so now at this stage in his life, he's written one book. He's a tsunami survivor. He's got no fingers, but he writes better than you and I. And he also types 100 words a minute.
Wow.
So whatever my dad wants to do, I'm sure he can do it. With the help of my wife, who is a business major, she'll keep everything in line, and we'll make sure we, cross the, what do you call it? Cross the T's, dot the I, whatever it's called. So
Yeah, dot the I's, cross the T's. You got
dot the T's, cross the I's. Cross the I's. Cross the I's. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Justin. I appreciate you, brother, man. You have a great workout tomorrow. And before you do it, just don't forget that.
Are you out of your mind?
Yeah. Are you out of your
I
mind?
am. To be a Ronin entrepreneur, you have to be a little out of your mind because, yeah, that's just the way we're wired here. So, but thank you so much, gLO, and we'll see you on the timeline tomorrow. Thanks for having me up as a guest, guys. You're in good hands here with gLO as he wraps up the show, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one.
Thank you, brother.
Peace.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the Revenue Ronin, if you want to connect with him, and also TNT, I want to thank you, man. You've been so engaged. And appreciate you, and to my family on Twitch, Kick, and Rumble. Thank you, and to my very quiet Twitch viewer. I think I know who you are on Twitch because we're on a Discord group. I think I know who you are, but thank you for watching. Richard, thank you for being engaging as well. Yours was what? Happy birthday, Richard. And by the way, Richard, I appreciate you helping me the other day on Spaces. We're actually going to take a short break because I want to cover some of the topics that I had originally set up. I'm going to cover at least 3 of them before we close this out. So we're going to take a quick 30-second break. Is it 30? Yeah, 30-second break. Little word from one of our product sponsors, Archon Mounts. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Today's episode is brought to you by Archon Mounts. For those of you that are content creators and you want the best mounting solutions for your cell phones, your DSLR cameras, well, go to archon.com. Be sure to use my promo code Hawaii and you'll get 20% off your entire order. Also, all of their products come with a lifetime guarantee. So head on over to archon.com, keeping your devices within reach. Also, want to say thank you to everybody that has been supportive over the years. Just even with Archon Mounts, I appreciate that, and to the team at Archon. I want to give a shout out to Ben. I think he heads the warehousing department. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Also, if you're not subscribed to me, here's my fancy graphics. Check this bugger out. Watch this, bro. Here we go. Thank you, mahalo for watching. And then the other one is be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I made those buttons by myself, but it's going to get better once my wife and my kids take over the back end. I'm not really good with the back end stuff. I like doing the front end talking and all that. But that was a nice little addition to have Justin in here. But I the engagement farm, I want to go back to that. I didn't want to pull it out of him too much because I'm not sure if that's what he came on for. But to go to the title of the video for those that watched from the beginning, what is engagement farming and why are people getting quote unquote penalized for it? And one of the things that I was I think I talked about this in a podcast, I would say earlier in the year with Tala, is that the art or the act of getting engagement by means of manipulation, whether it's through spending money on third-party sources that will get you to get likes, shares, replies artificially, I can see why they would penalize that, right? Vladimir, who was on here earlier, I don't think this is what it was, but that was the discussion that was started. Was it because of engagement farming? Did they interpret something? And one of the things that he's been doing was he's been offering people an incentive to engage with his post, right? And so part of that incentive is to drop $100 prize for anybody that reposts, and you're gonna get your name in a drawing. I don't see anything wrong with it because that's stuff that I've done, right? And Nothing on the grand scale that he's doing it, because on that, if you do the math, just do $100 times 100 days. It's a pretty penny. So here's the discussion. Here's the pushback on that. Let's say that is what he's doing, where he's paying people to like, share, repost, whatever, and the money's coming out of his own pocket. It's coming from whatever companies. To me, no matter how you look at it, people are engaging in that post, in that live stream, or whatever it is, but they're staying on the platform and they're getting the numbers to go up. If you just look at it at face value, the numbers are going up, right? It's not artificial. You're not paying a company to use AI or bots to puff up numbers. There's real human beings that want to win money. So I don't see anything wrong with it. Here's the second part I'll add to that. Let me take a sip real quick. But anybody that does ads, for example, any type of ads on any platform, when you pay money to run ads on a platform that is platform specific. So for example, on Twitter, X, TikTok, YouTube, or any of those platforms where you pay money to promote your tweet, your video, your post, you're paying them money to push your content to the front of the line, supposedly, to where you get more engagement. So is that interpreted as engagement farming? Is it real? Is it artificial? The issue for me comes where, is that transparent? Are they telling you where that engagement is coming from? So great example, if you buy an ad on Twitter, on X, you have a choice to say, I want more engagement, posts, likes, shares, etc., etc. I want people to click on a link, etc., etc. I want more followers. You have those options. You're paying money to Twitter. I'm going to use Twitter as an example, on X, to get one of those three categories. You get more likes, shares, reposts. You can get more followers. That's your goal. You want people to click on your links, and you're paying for that. They do not penalize you for that, but the minute you do it from the outside, and I can understand from a company perspective why you don't want third party. I totally get that. But it does beg the question, if Vladimir Robots was suspended for that reason, for what he was doing, I'm not quite sure the thought process of that. So here's the other question I'll pose is engagement farming bad? Is it bad? I don't know if it's artificial, of course, obviously. I know I joke about bots' lives matter, but they kind of do. The bots' lives kind of do matter. But somebody posted something on Twitter, on X today. They said that everything is so AI bot focused now. It's so hard to get where you need to go, because you're talking to bot after bot, to AI, and by the time you get to the answer of the question that you originally had, they just send you back to the beginning, and you're in this endless loop of answering silly questions, when if you had just gotten on a phone and talked to a real human being, it would have been okay. So yeah, and there's another part to that. I won't probably mention it here. Appreciate you, Richard. Let's read a comment. This is interesting to the video. I'm not sure. I thought about this, but it is a very interesting. Well, I might be wrong. I might be wrong on the take, but I just, from the philosophical perspective of it all, I don't agree with penalizing people if it's their own finances and it's within the organic ecosystem, especially if the viewers are verified followers. And I'm speaking in reference to X, Twitter, for those that are watching on YouTube, Twitch, King, and Rumble. Oh, that's good. YouTube, Twitch, King. So if you have verified people watching and commenting and say, I want to win, that's organic. That's real. And now, if you're promising everybody's going to win something, now that's different. And so I think, like with me, I think I might have been reported for something. I don't know. I don't think I have, but I could pay for more reach, but it's not cheap to promote. Yeah. So if you have, for example, let's pick on the developers for a second. So for people that don't know, not all, let's just pick on Twitter on X for a second. You can pay $200 a month, or you can pay, I think, $1,000. I forget how much it is. It starts at 200. You get developer access, meaning you can create programs, apps. You have access to Twitter's API, and you can create, track, do analytics, whatever they give you access to. From what I understand, it's not truly 100% open source, like Elon says it is. However, so anyways, you get access to certain things more, and you can post more. But yeah, it's not cheap. And if you have a business account, so for people that know that, so Instagram I think has tiers or one tier. I think they have one tier. Twitter has, I think, three. They have the cheap one with no blue check. They have the blue check, which has almost everything, and you have the premium plus, which has everything but one extra thing, which is writing articles, which that kind of doesn't make sense. You charge an additional just to write articles. And then you have the business one, which is like I think it's $1,000 a month. So all those things give you different levels of access and theoretically more exposure. I don't know what that really means, because there's been a few people that have stopped their so if you have a business check mark, I think it's gold, right? So I don't know. And to tie the knot or to connect the dots to engagement farming, to me, as long as it's organic, if you're self-funding or you have a company sponsoring the prize money or whatever, products, services, and it's all organic and they're all staying on the platform, I don't think they should penalize. And I don't think they are penalizing people like Vladimir Robots for that. But that is the that is the kindling to the fire that we're talking about. Like, is that why? I don't know. It could have been something else. It was a great segue into the discussion of engagement farming. So I think that's enough fire for that. I think that's enough wood for that fire. Let's read a comment from XTNT. Says, yeah, articles can only be created with iPhone and computer, though also might be updated. Yeah, you know what? I never thought about it. The one I typed was on my desktop. I do have an Android and an iPhone. I never thought about trying to do it on Android. Technically, you could do it on an Android if you do it on a Chrome browser in desktop mode, theoretically. There's a lot of workaround. That's why I love Android. Like, Android has so much more options. And I don't know if you guys know this, for people that are wondering why we're talking so much about Twitter, because Twitter has the most engagement, I think, for me. So that's why I talk a lot about Twitter. But I still love you guys, people that are on the if you're on the outside, if you're on Twitch, Kick, and Rumble. And by the way, I love Twitch because I love Twitch, but Rumble, they have a interesting. I don't understand the algorithm, how it works, but it's interesting that there's viewers that I don't even know who they are, where they're coming from, because it doesn't show me, and there's no commenting. At least I don't think there's commenting. It's not popping up on my page. What were we talking about? Engagement farming. I think that's it. Yeah, I got distracted by TNT Dynamite. Okay. I'm TNT Dynamite. Can we talk about Tiffany Fong? Because man, she's been getting some crazy payouts. And I'm not gonna cast shade, throw shade, whatever it is. But I will say that it does raise concerns for me, for people that are looking at the dollar amounts that she's getting, and like questions are like, how come I don't get that much, right? I mean, let's be honest. How come I don't get that much? Or how can she get $30,000 in one payout? Green Man brought up some great points in his video that he made. So for people that are on YouTube, you may know who Tiffany Fong is. I honestly don't know her. I don't know her content. I watched a few things. From what I gather, she's got a great following. and they follow her from platform to platform. She gets a lot of engagement. So for people that don't know, Twitter, and I don't know if it went back. I don't know yet. I just know the last that I read was, so Twitter's revenue sharing program initially was based on ad revenue sharing. Okay, so ad meaning advertisers throwing money in this pot. Twitter gave $50 million of that money pot to creators. November 8th, I think it was November 8th or 12th, they stopped the advertiser revenue sharing, meaning all the creators didn't have access to this big pot of money. The money now, or the money pot now, they changed the name from ad revenue sharing to creator revenue sharing. So whatever revenue that creators are bringing in, they get to put their hands in the pot and take money out, or we give the money to you. And without trying to sound negative, I have issue with that only because there's no revenue coming in terms of sales, or technically it's not, you're not having to sell people. Now, I don't work for Twitter. I never have. The thing I see is that by them, one of the things they released was you can gift a premium subscription on Black Friday for a discounted price. I released a video, I want to say, I don't know, a month ago, 2 months ago. And I wasn't saying that Twitter was a pyramid scheme or program, but if you're telling creators that you can make a lot of money, all you got to do is get more people to come into this app, pay their $8 a month, and you guys all engage with each other, you're going to get a piece of that pie. The problem I have with that, coming from we had Justin on here earlier, the business aspect of it, if there's no revenue coming in other than people coming in to sign up on a program and they all get each other's money, it's a very thin line of Ponzi scheme, pyramid scheme. It's a very fine line, because there's no products or services, there's no advertisers dropping money to where the creators get a piece of that. What they're telling you or us is that whatever you guys pay for your premium subscription, you get a piece of that. So there's no products or services, profits or revenue coming into for us to have a piece of that. Our money comes from each other. So the more people I get to come in and sign up on Twitter, on X, when you pay your money, then you can pay, or you can play. You pay to play. There was a company, I can't remember the name of, but and they got shut down pretty quick. I don't even know the name of them. But I had a friend, a very trusted friend. He said, "Hey, come to my office. Let's have a meeting." And we talked about if you get 3 people to sign up for, like, I don't know, $100. So that's 3 people. And if those 3 people get 3, and if those 3 people get 3, those people get 3. If you're at the top, you're going to get a piece of all of that. And so one of the questions I had was, well, how do I how do I make money? Like, so what if nobody signs up? And he goes, it's impossible for nobody to not wait. It's impossible for people to not sign up if you just ask it. So if there's no viable product or service, if the only way I can make money is by signing people up under my company, well, what about the guy at the bottom? How does he? Well, he's got to continue. So the last I checked, I think that's illegal. Depending on how you word it, right? So depending on how you, so maybe Twitter knows. I'm sure I'm not saying they're doing that, but if the money's not coming from advertiser revenue or any products or services coming into the company, and if the money is only coming from us, and then we don't know how much the percentage is, but yet they're telling us to just engage with each other, and be healthy and engage with each other's content. There's something wrong with that. I'm just going to leave it there. So we went all the way there from engagement farming, because we're talking about engagement. What else can we talk about before we close this out? We talked about the future of media with Justin. Should I talk about West Africa? No, I'm not going to talk about. I'll say it for another time because I don't think that's a good topic. I will say, um, in the area of Bitcoin, because we talked about that earlier. I think that's all we're talking about. Is there anything else? I think that's it. And I'm going to close it out with a word of encouragement for anybody that I always want to leave something biblical and a word of encouragement. I always want to close it out properly. But before we do that, it's first of all, it's nice to be back. I love going live. I love having a camera. I love.
You go live before?
Well, I went live on my phone in Seattle.
Did it cut you off? Like you couldn't go live?
No. I just say it's nice to be on a setup with media and videos and sponsor videos and all fancy. I'm so fancy.
All the works.
All the works. I need some water. Hold on, let me drink some H2O before. And by the way, if you say "and by the way," you're a professional. Just want to say that. And by the way, and if you have a deep enunciation, and by the way, you might be PBD. And by the way, so I am not sponsored by this company, but if you know who they are, my wife and I, let me share this story about my wife. Let me drink this real quick. Hold on. I won't say the name because I don't want to get in trouble because we're on YouTube, so I don't want them to say, "Hey, we're not, you're not going to get monetized by that, are you?" No, but you was with me, TNT. You sure was. It was a tough. Yeah, it was tough. So before we left for Seattle, my wife showed me our app. So you have this app for this drink, this beverage company. Okay. I'm like, where all this money come from? She goes, honey, you have no idea. Every time I just put a little bit here, a little bit there. I'm like, it's like, I'm thinking that's a lot of money to put into an app to buy drinks. But I'm glad she did. Because one, you get points, right? We get points. And it's just fun. It's better than the other guys. And I don't want to say I don't want to get in trouble, but the other guys with the naked lady with the chi showing her hair is covering. Now her hair is covering her, and she's got the most popular coffee company in the world, possibly. But anyway, this other company is better. They're friendlier. They always talk story. And let me give a shout out to all the Oregonians, or whatever, people of Oregon. For the company I'm referencing, you guys rock. And there's nothing wrong with Washington or Seattle, but we all know that Seattle and Washington, they're the home of that other coffee company. But the people, they're so friendly. Like when you buy drinks from these guys, it's like we had a conversation with this kid at this coffee place, this beverage company, and we're sitting at the drive-thru, and he looks at my phone, and we have a full-fledged conversation. We find out that he's going to go to Bible college. He wants to be a pastor. That's how we started talking. And he asked me, so he just started asking questions about schooling and college, and then he said, I want to serve in youth ministry. And I said, bro, just do it all. Just do it. And we were talking so long that he had to apologize. You know what? We've been talking for a long time, but you guys got to go. And there was a line behind us. But anyways, this company, that's what they're known for, being super friendly and not healthy, but hey, it's a healthy conversation. Okay, what are we going to close out with?
Very positive.
Very positive. If you just be positive.
You are very positive.
Be very positive. That's it. Thanksgiving was great. I wish I had more time in Seattle, but it was good. We cried. My kids loved it. My daughter cried. Just to not not sad crying, but she was happy crying. My auntie Linda, who I was supposed to do a podcast with, but auntie Linda, I'm gonna make you watch this clip. She's a school teacher of 40 years, very highly educated, extremely smart, retired, but for some reason they won't let her retire, so she subs. But anyway, she's legendary. I will do a podcast with her soon. But yeah, we spent time with my auntie Linda, and she did this thing that was so powerful, so powerful. I loved it. She said, "Before we eat, yeah, it was eat, yeah. Before we eat, we're gonna go around, and everybody was it everybody? Everybody's gonna say something that they're thankful for." And everybody got to theirs, and it took my daughter, who was the last one, I think. And she said, "I'm just happy." What she said, "I'm happy."
I'm thankful for family.
She said, "I'm thankful for family," and then she stopped talking. And I already knew, oh Lord Jesus, she's gonna open the floodgates, and she did. She started crying, and I started crying, and then everybody started crying, and I'm like, I'm a deeply emotional guy, but when I want to pull up the e-brakes, I typically will use humor. Sometimes it's ill timed, but I think I timed it okay. And I said, "Zoe, what the heck, right? You're making us all cry."
It's hard for them too.
Yeah, and then we all started laughing, and I didn't mean it to disrespect her or cut her off, but I knew she was struggling to continue to say. But she did it. She did it well. She handled it like a champ, and it was good because she brought she brought the heavy bags to the game. You know, she brought the heavy bags so everybody could uh, appreciate the
And
moment.
it's an appreciation for the time that you spend
Yeah.
together.
It was one of the best Thanksgivings I ever had. I will say it was like it wasn't about the food. It wasn't about we played a lot of music, played a lot of games. It wasn't about that. It was really about I want to say the investment of time and family. And being in Oregon is tough because all of our family's at home, and we're here doing a Han Solo. You know, we're doing a Han Solo action. We got Chewbacca in the dog room. Chewbacca's my dog. She cries every day at 2. She cries every day at 1:45 to 1:50 p.m. She's like, "Arr, arr," like feed me every day like clockwork. Anyways, all of our family's back home, and it was good. It was good to be in Seattle. Good to be with family. Uh, I was supposed to have met up with brother Chris Antonelli. I didn't get a chance to, and also to Maribel Marisol Mary. I would say Mary. I don't know your full name. I've known Mary for like 10 years, and I still don't know her full name. I think I do. Uh, but if anybody does not know who she is, she was handling our marketing for our cryptocurrency company that we had. And anyways, that is it. I think we're good. Let's play where we're at, and then we'll close it out. Well, we'll play it at the ending. Let me just say thank you to everybody on Twitch, Kick and Rumble. We appreciate you. To everybody that jumped in from Justin's account, thank you. Appreciate you guys. There was about 68 that came in live and on replay. Appreciate you guys. For those of my family that are on my account, I appreciate you. And what can I play before we close out? Oh, we'll do our merch. Not all of it is available because some of it got shelved, but that's okay. You can still watch the video. I want to say on behalf of my wife and myself, we appreciate you. We are at the 2-hour mark. Okay, we hit it. I hope you guys have a blessed Friday, Aloha Friday. It's Aloha Friday for mostly everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us, and I hope you guys have a blessed day. And we will see you guys on the other side. I don't have a schedule yet because there's some things we got to do. Plus, I got to go make some money before I overly invest myself in things that don't make a lot of money. So, but anyways, thank you for your time, your hearts, super heart, your data, all that good stuff. But most importantly, family, thank you for your time. above everything else. To those who are in replay, thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking through the 2 hours and 5 minutes of this broadcast. I'm trying to remember my last saying. So, anyways, thank you for your time, your heart, super heart, your data, all that good stuff. But most importantly, thank you for your time above everything else. We hope you have a blessed evening, morning, afternoon, whatever time it is that you're watching. Love you guys. God bless you guys. Ahui ho. Aloha and mahalo. Yes, sir. Chee. Want to announce our new merch is up. If you go to therealglo.com, click on merchandise, it'll take you to our storefront, which has our last run of our t-shirts for the fall season. It's Stay Humble and Shaka, Blessed Beyond Measure, Ezekiel 37 shirts, Yesu, which is Native Hawaiian for Jesus. And we also have our beanies, coffee cups. Get your hands on it while it lasts, because we're going to be running our winter apparel. TheRealGLO.com. Click on merchandise. And as I always say, mahalo for your support.